Hi, welcome to my tutorial on solving fractional quadratic equations. This is the second part of this tutorial. This is specifically dealing with expressions that form to make a quadratic, which we then have to solve. So we've got this one here, 4 over x plus 1 plus 3 over x plus 2, and that's equal to 3. What we need to do first of all is we need to simplify this left-hand side and add this part to this part, and then we can set it equal to 3 and then solve it. So dealing with this left-hand side then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare this to a simple fraction. So if we have a look at this one here, 1/2, let's make that a bit clearer, plus 2/3. I'm going to do this fraction and then do the same to the algebraic one. So here, first of all, we're going to look for the lowest common denominator. Now the lowest common denominator for this fraction is going to be 6. Now one way of doing that would be to say, well, do 2 times 3 because that gives us 6. And that's how I did that. So I could do that with this, but this time I'm going to have to times these two denominators together, x plus 1 times x plus 2. Well, I'm just going to leave that as x plus 1 and x plus 2, x plus 1 and x plus 2. I've just times that by that, showing it by the brackets. Same as what I've done there. Now the next thing you need to look at is, well, how did I get from that to that? What did I do to the 2? I multiplied it by 3. Now if you have a look here, this times 3 is the same as the number on the denominator, on the second fraction. And what did I do to the 3 to get to the 6? I timesed it by 2, which is the same as the denominator on the first fraction. So basically here, what I'm doing is I'm doing 3 times the 1 and 2 times the 2. I'm cross multiplying. So I do the same here. So to the 4, I times 4 by x plus 2. I times these two together. Use the brackets. And on the other side, I'm going to times the 3 by the x plus 1. Using the brackets, I get to that. Next thing I'd do, let's finish this bit off. So I've times this by 3, so I've got 3 on the top of there, times that by 2, I've got 4 on the top of there. Then what I'd do is I would add the bottom numbers together, but I keep the top numbers together, but I keep the denominators the same. So here, I multiply out my brackets, I get 4x plus 8 plus 3x plus 3, and that's going to be over x plus 1, x plus 2, because remember I do not add these together, it just stays as 6. So on this one, it would give me 7 over 6 as my answer. Here, of course, I've got to add this top line together. So I've got 4x plus 3x, which gives me 7x. And I've got 8 plus 3, which gives me 11. So I end up with 7x plus 11 over x plus 1, x plus 2. I've now simplified the left-hand side. Remember, this is equal to 3. Now I'm in the situation where I can multiply this 3 by what's on the bottom of the left-hand side. I'm basically taking this up to here and multiplying it by the 3. At this stage, I should multiply these brackets out. So if I multiply these out, I end up with, I've still got 7x plus 11 on the top, but on the bottom, x times x is x squared, x times 2 is 2x, and then 1 times x, I'm doing that times that times that, then 1 times x is x, 2x add x is 3x, and then finally 1 times 2 is 2. So I end up with x squared plus 3x plus 2 equals 3. Now I can take this side, this denominator here, up and times it by the 3. And that leaves me with 7x plus 11 equals 3x squared plus 9x plus 6. Now, I've got an expression here that's a quadratic. It's got the x squared in. In order to solve a quadratic, I need to set it equal to 0. So what I'm going to have to do is to get this x term and this 11 over to the other side, so I'm left with 0 on this side. If I do that, I end up with 0 equals 3x squared. 9x take away 7x leaves me with plus 2x. And then 6 take away 11 leaves me with minus 5. So I've now got 0 equals 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. I'm just going to go up to the top here. So I'll just rub this out. I'm just going to transfer this expression up to the top of the page, which gives me 3x squared plus 2x minus 5 equals 0. Now I've got a basic quadratic that I'm going to try and factorise. Multiply the 3 by the minus 5, which gives me minus 15. I'm now looking for two numbers that multiply to give negative 15 and add to give positive 2. Well, those two numbers are going to be minus 3 and 5, because minus 3 times 5 gives me negative 15. Minus 3 add 5 gives me the 2x. I now split my 2x into those two numbers. Plus 5 minus 5 equals 0. I then factorise in pairs, split it down the middle. What occurs in both? 3x, open brackets, 3x times x gives me 3x squared, and 3x times minus 1 gives me minus 3x. What occurs in both here? I have 5 occurring in both. 5 times x gives me 5x, and 5 times minus 1 gives me minus 5, and that equals 0. And then to finish that off, all I do is I write whatever's outside the brackets, 3x plus 5 in one set, and you should be left with x minus 1 in both of these ones. That goes in the other set of brackets, and that equals to 0. Now it's just a case of finding out what these x values are. So 3x plus 5 equals 0. So basically I'm left with 3x equals minus 5. So x equals minus 5 over 3. And x minus 1 equals 0. So x is going to equal positive 1. My two answers are x equals minus 5 over 3 and x equals 1.